and daughter relationships can be complicated, a premise that's at the heart of the new film Treasure that just premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival. Starring Lena Dunham from Girls and Stephen Fry from, well, everything, the film tells the story of a New York businesswoman and her father, a Holocaust survivor, as they unpack generational trauma while on a visit to his family home. We were thrilled to catch up with director Julia von Heinz and Stephen, who, by the way, also recently played memorable roles on The Dropout and The Morning Show, and even narrates one of our favorite sleep stories on the Calm app at Village East by Angelika in New York City. Interesting about this movie is it tells the story of a father, right, who really does not want to dig into his past, but his daughter very much does. What do you think are the positives of facing your demons head on?
Yeah, I think this is a story of healing, and I think we can't understand ourselves when we don't understand our parents. So she doesn't understand herself at all in the beginning of the film. She suffers from all that pain and she doesn't know where it's coming from. She thinks she knows, but no one talked about it. And only when he opens up, she can understand where all that pain comes from and she can heal from it. And it's only, like I would say, 10 years that we know that term, that word, transgenerational trauma, which is described in that story. And we know now that we suffer from a pain from other generations, and pain travels through families until someone is ready to feel it, and that is what the film tells. She's able and ready to feel it, and so she helps also her father.
What do you think it is about the relationship and the dynamic between a father and daughter, or a father figure and daughter, that's so special?
It's an eternal question. One of my great heroes, and I'm hardly alone in that, is the English playwright and poet William Shakespeare, whose last plays were all obsessed with father and daughter.
It's only now with the modern and new generation that they talk about emotions, I think. This is such a beautiful thing now, and I can see it with my daughter and my husband, that they sit and talk. And she asks him how he feels, and he answers, and he will ask back. And that's the most important, and that's what my film is about, actually.
That's a good point. It's been, back in the day, men talking about their emotions. It's not that wasn't seen the same way as it is now. It's more accepted now. It's more accepted now.
It wasn't accepted at all. And Edek, in my film, he couldn't accept it for himself because he knew he would break down when he lets his emotion come to his heart and mind. So he pressed it all down, and she suffers from it.
I know my father's relationship with my sister was of a different kind than it was to us, my brother and me. And it is one of those things. Fathers have a powerful mixture of, not disappointment, a kind of anger that their daughter has dared to grow up and will, can you imagine being the boy that comes around saying, I'm the new boyfriend, and you know that the father is looking, you're doing that to my daughter? You dare to touch my daughter's breasts? Get out of the house! It's something a father has to get through and understand. Because of course he once had to go to his wife's father and say, I want to marry your daughter, but they still don't learn. And there is also this feeling that you want your daughter to be a perfect princess and a jewel and lovely, but you also kind of know that when isn't that New York? The noises, I love this. No other festival makes so much noise as Tribeca. And the story really is, I look at her, you simultaneously want your daughter to be admired and beautiful, and you don't want anyone to touch them. And so it's a kind of cognitive dissonance, isn't it?
Yeah. And also a dad literally has to give their daughter away at a wedding. That's difficult.
Absolutely
it's a different kind of relationship than they have with their
mother.
mother.
It is. And how are your fathers?
Yeah. Our dad is the best.
Oh, of course they are.
He's the best. He really is. I'm not just saying that. He really is the best.
I'm delighted to hear it.